Resonance, where minds meet mics, the RNSIT podcast. Today, we're celebrating our very first episode on our very first season with an extraordinary guest, a dynamic leader with over 18 years of experience spanning corporate strategy, culture, and well-being. From spearheading key initiatives at LSEG to being celebrated globally for her contributions to diversity and leadership, she has received accolades like the Mindtree Helen Keller Award and recognition as a Yahoo Finance role model, among other laurels. Beyond her professional achievements, she is a certified life coach, a passionate adventurer, and someone who truly believes by the mantra of thriving and not just surviving. Let's dive into her inspiring journey, and without much await, let's welcome Miss Natasha Pinto. Welcome, Natasha. How are we this morning?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, RNSIT. And Thara, I love the energy. I love the warmth. I loved everything about it so far. So I'm really, really excited for the podcast.
Yay, that's how we are here at RNSIT MBA. So I have been wanting to ask you this now, and the roles are reversed. So introduce yourself, Natasha, please.
I'm on the hot seat. Okay, so me, in a nutshell, I can go on and on. I'm a storyteller. Corporate life, I have 19 years of experience so far. What I would say is within those 19 years, I have moved across different businesses, different teams, different roles. So in short, it's been amazing. It's been something that I will always treasure because through it all, I got to meet a lot of people, and I love people. I love having those conversations with people because you learn so much more, right? Yes. So from each of the roles, some of it were crazy, but some of them are really, really nice. In all of it, I learned a lot when it came to whether it's people management, whether it's soft skills, hard skills, whatever it is. My journey started from global filings as an analyst way back in 2005. I'm guessing y'all would have just been 2 or 3 to quality as an analyst, and I started leading teams in deals, that's your mergers and acquisitions, to fixed income, that's your bond data, to order management, I was never satisfied with just doing one thing. I loved the diversity, so I started taking extended roles in corporate responsibility again globally. Post that, at the site, I led the Ability Network at the time, that's currently called the Accessibility Network. So that's basically the disability network back in the day, but then we changed it because we were like, what are we actually focusing on? We want accessible workplaces, an accessible future for all our people so that nobody's left behind. And I was extremely grateful and honored to have, and privileged to have that opportunity to globally co-lead the network and make a lot of changes as well along the way. I can go on and on unless you have questions regarding that, but yes.
So a lot of learnings, a lot of roles, and many diverse platforms, according to you, for these so
they
many
make fun
years.
of me at work. They're like, you walk around like you're the prime minister, like hi.
I mean, you could be because you have so many things on your profile.
Just honored, grateful.
So as you said, so many roles, and your section on LinkedIn was, when me and Sindhu were preparing the script, we saw it and we were like, oh my God, what are we even going to ask her? Because there was like so many things, so many awards and so many recognitions under your name, and we couldn't help but notice, and you still remain so grounded and humble, and I'm sure that has a story. So you want to talk about that?
I think at the end of it, we're all human. You know, I have never actually focused on the titles. I've always advocated against it, honestly. I've actually written an article about it as well.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
About
titles.
Oh, yeah. About like how you don't want titles?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Really? Yeah, totally.
I think you need like a very grounded spirit to say something like that because we're in a world where people just want to be recognized.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it should not be ego-driven.
Definitely.
It should be more of contribution, be of service. Everything else comes later. The more of service you are to others, the more you attract a lot of other things in that line. So basically you're aligned. So yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's like, again, that's why I said you were like grounded and humble, because who would say stuff like that anyway? And as someone who's very passionate about promoting a disability inclusive workplace and identifying invisible disabilities, how important do you think it is in today's work environment?
Super important, whether it's disability, whether it's the LGBTQI, it doesn't matter, because at the end of it, we all people. What do we want at the end of it? Love, we want respect. You have, I can't recollect the Maslow's, what we need. You need
The theories, yeah.
the theory where you need your food, your shelter, and stuff like that way. But then if you go up, at the end of it, you need your love, your respect, and things like that, right? So I'm talking, when I talk about disability specifically, I have an invisible disability myself called multiple sclerosis, been misdiagnosed for over 10-15 years. They used to call me a drama queen. Because at that time, nobody knew what it was. Right. They used to diagnose me with throat infection and stuff like that, because it ran across my body until one fine day, over time, there was problems with my vision and the pins and needles. My body would go numb, and to the fact that I would just get up and drop. Right. I would not feel, and I thought I'm dying. So, the hospitals over here did not take it seriously. They said, stop Googling it, you don't have any of it. And my mom actually flew in, and then she said, yeah, there are children these days, they just Google things.
Phrases.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was kind of heartbreaking, because that was a journey that I had to take within, right, and ensure that I had to work in such a way that I had to believe that I can come across and move forward. Until one fine day in 2018, I was coming back from work. It was around 1 a.m. in the night. The cab dropped me, and then I just couldn't move. I was frozen. I just couldn't move. I thought I was having a heart attack. And then as soon as I could, I obviously went up home, and then I realized something was totally off. And I told my husband at the time that I think something's off completely. But again, drama queen and stuff. Doctors did not take anything seriously. But I knew I was losing my sense in my legs. And I ran the Pinkathon and the Oxfam 50 kilometers.
Wow.
Because I thought that's the last time I can walk.
That's something.
I did that, and the next month I was in hospital. They did the MRIs, and they saw multiple lesions in the brain, the spine, and the optic nerve. They kind of scooped things out from the spinal cord to finally, actually diagnose it.
I'm scared.
Surprisingly, that did not hurt. It normally does, but it did not for me, because my body sometimes goes numb, so I did not really feel it. But I'm very grateful for the fact that it was finally diagnosed. I was hoping it's not MS. I know how it gets, because I was leading the network. I know people with it. And because there's no cure found yet, there's no cause known yet. But it can get challenging. It's a daily thing that I get up and see if I can move my fingers, my legs, my eyes. Can I see today? Your energy depends on the day. So I cannot even if I dream, even if I have a goal list, I would still need to go with day by day what's going to happen. I normally strap ice packs on my body. I do not feel cold. That's what I was mentioning to you some time ago as well. Even if I remember backpacking Europe, again thinking that's the last time I can walk. And I just couldn't feel cold. So there were strangers on the road coming to give their jackets to me. I like, you're killing me, take it off. They're like, are you kidding? I'm like, no, I'm serious. They're like, is this your superpower? I'm like, yeah.
I'm sure it is.
So again, grateful. I normally have, if you open my freezer, it's filled with ice packs.
Really? No ice cream?
No ice cream, because I'm lactose intolerant.
Right.
But yes, a lot. If there's ice cream, it's for everybody else. I'd love it, but no, not right now. But yeah.
I think that's a very inspiring thing that we can actually think on, because with somebody that has so much on their plate, I think even physically, emotionally, and how you deal with all of that, I think it's so inspiring, because there's half of us are like, oh, I don't feel good today and I don't want to get up today and stuff like that. But then there's people who are achieving so much in just, having so many difficulties within themselves, I think. And this being an invisible disability in the name itself, that I don't think anybody would even think that you would be going through something like this. And I think everybody that hears your story would be so proud. I am actually I'm just shook, okay? This is just very shocking for me. But I think it takes real strength and endurance to be achieving so much with so much going on inside. And I think you're blessed, truly. Yeah. And this story, and we also saw on your profile that this story was featured in the She Leads with Courage by Shenomics 2024. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Shenomics is an amazing platform, especially for women trying to soar in their careers. I don't think it would be right if I do not mention them. They are great. They are a great platform. I definitely recommend men, women, everybody, all genders, actually go ahead and look them up. They took my story a few years ago, and they have been working alongside me, and they said, can we take up your story? I'm like, yes, if it's going to serve anybody, even if it helps one soul, yes, why not? And yes, and we went from there. And the story again is about courage. It's about ensuring, like you mentioned, people do not want to get up and then start your day. I have those days too. Yes. But when you realize that your days are limited, today could be the last. I'm not meaning it in a negative way, but I worked my way backwards, saying if today is my last, what am I going to do? Would I be proud of whatever I've done? And even if I live up to 80, would my 80-year-old self be proud of everything? I don't want to be sitting there and whining saying, I wish I did that. No.
No regrets.
Just do it like the Nike says. Just do it.
Right. Good advice, Nike. So you've led diverse teams and driven key initiatives at LSEG, which is the London Stock Exchange Group, and over the years. So what's been the most rewarding part of managing the vibrant and like so many teams at once? Because even when you were introducing yourself, you said that you've been in so many different teams. So what's been there in that part of your life?
It's the people. It's always the people. Because your tools change, everything changes over time, right? That because you're evolving. People evolve as well, but everybody's got their story. You're learning as well as it's vice versa. I'm learning as well. Even now, even being here with all of you, I'm learning so much. So I love to learn. I'm a lifelong learner. I don't mind saying, hey, I don't know that. I'd rather be a fool for a minute than a lifetime. So yeah, I would definitely put my hand up and say that. So yeah. So over
people.
Yeah, it's always the people.
I think Natasha said the word learning like so many times, and I think that we should all learn that. So yeah. Okay, this is a little bit of fun question. So how would you describe yourself in 3 words? Yeah, I know.
Okay. I've been told I'm inspiring. I used to hate that word.
I love that word, and I think you are.
I used to wonder, is that all that I am? But I realized there's so much power in that word, so I'm very grateful. So inspiring is what people say. I think, I believe I'm resilient.
Yes, I agree.
Adventurous.
Ooh, yeah, that the profile agrees with the word adventurous.
I'm passionate, super passionate.
Yeah, about so many things. I like the way she's like so interested in like everything that we talk to her about. I think that's so fun because I would be so easily bored, and I should really learn that from you, to be passionate. Okay. And on a more informal front, what is your take on love and relationships?
Okay. Love and relationships. What is your take? Let's turn it around for her.
No. The roles are reversed already.
Okay,
We're not turning it this
so
way.
you're completely ragging me now. Okay. Love and relationships. Okay, so I believe love is beautiful. Relationships are as well. You have your good relationships and your bad. I was married once upon a time. I've divorced, and I recently got married as well. Again, all wonderful people. And what I've learned over time is that don't rush into something. How much ever you're sure about something, don't rush. Your soul, your gut, everything will talk to you. Don't silence it. Yes. If something's not okay, speak up. Yeah, do not ever question yourself or your value system within for the sake of somebody else. They might be beautiful people as well, and vice versa. The person does not have to be like, bashing you up to say, yeah, that person's a bad person. No. Sometimes you all might be in two different wavelengths altogether, and that's totally okay. But that being said, always be open to love as well. And there should be a lot of love and respect, honor, and trust. I remember my mother-in-law saying, I asked her this question actually, and she said, I asked her, what is it, to make a good marriage? She said 3 words.
What are those?
I made it as an acronym now, PUT. Okay. Patience, understanding, and trust.
Ooh, expert advice. You please take notes. Yeah.
So I think it's super important because now in today's day and age where everything's everywhere, there's so many opportunities and options, we tend to stray away from what is actually important. And I think it's very important when you make a commitment, you stick by it.
Definitely.
And if you're not okay, don't waste somebody else's time, right? Saying, hey, there's other fish in the sea. No, that's totally not okay. We all still people with feelings.
Absolutely.
You need to honor that.
I think, yeah, you should remember the acronym, guys. PUT. Let's go. Okay. Okay, so next question. Let's go. And what is success to you? And how does failure fit into all of this? Do you think failure and success are interrelated?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So the fun part is I gamify my life. I'm not sure if you all have played Mario.
I'm sure Abhi has, but yeah.
So Mario is one of those Sega games, much before PS5 and PS1. Yeah. You had your
OG.
The ancient ones. I always gamify my life saying, okay, today I'm here, so where am I next, sort of thing. So for me, success, it's not that, everybody out of your 8 billion people, everybody's rushing to be a CEO, and that's what success is. No. I believe that it's what you want to be. If you want to be a teacher, if that's truly what you want to be, and you want to be that, then go for it. And if you're achieving that, that's success. You're going from point A to point B, that's success. It's what you drive. You could be wanting to be a nurse or a plumber, it's all successful. As long as you are passionate and you're achieving that, you're going towards that, you're aligned towards that.
Right.
And that's success to me. And failure for me is basically an opportunity to succeed. It's just, on the go lessons.
Right.
And I always question that, whenever I'm in a situation which is challenging, I'd always question in my head, have this question saying, what is this trying to teach me? That's it. Is it patience? So that's something that I learned in my relationships. What is this trying to teach me? And oh my God, I have learned to be patient. So even at work, I'd always take a step back.
Right.
There's no point reacting, respond.
Yes. Ooh, that's good. React is not needed. Response is needed. Nice.
Because that's more positive. Reacting, you're reacting with whatever is within
The emotional. Yeah.
You're like, oh. You respond. You smile. So if you don't know what to do,
Just be like,
breathe,
okay, it's fine.
smile, and then communicate. Because as soon as those words get out of your mouth, you cannot take it back in.
Right.
And you can, of course, apologize, but then those are all paper cuts in somebody else's life.
Yes, words are important.
I have that written 3 times on a sticky note.
Really?
Words are important, words are important, words are important. It's so important.
I'm sure they are. They are actually. You can't just say something and then regret it later and then hurt the person and all of that stuff. So, yeah. Whoa, that was anyway. So, okay. Next, how do you personally conquer fear when faced with challenges, both physical and professional?
I believe, so again, I gamify my life, I make it into a comedy scene. Okay, you have your fear, you have whatever, I personalize it. I acknowledge its presence, like, you can have your fear auntie or your, whatever, you just name those 2 aunties, keep them here. Say, hey, I know you are there, thank you. It's basically just telling, are you sure? Right. It's just trying to protect you, but then not realizing you've moved forward, you've learned your lessons. Right. Acknowledge the presence, but then say, I've got this, and then move. So I did that recently. I'm shit scared of the water. Whoa. Because I've had terrible experiences in the past. To the fact that this time I said, I'm going to go scuba diving.
You did?
I did.
Whoa.
I told both my aunties over here.
It's
Tiny
fine.
little, it's fine, I've got this. And I just dived in and it just went. And I loved it.
You did?
Yeah.
That's good. So you're saying just face
Just
it.
go for it. Yeah. Just do it. Actually works. Just go. Face fear. Smile. Always smile and do it. You will be so shocked, and you know that it's a tiny thin line, and that's where you truly come alive.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're just doing the same thing day in and day out and calling it a life.
Yes.
You need to surprise yourself in the tiniest of ways as well. And then you learn a lot about you, what you are capable of, and you may even focus on new things in life. You're opening new doors. You're like, hey, I did not do this in the past.
So let me do it now.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So the only way to conquer it, guys, is to face it.
Yes.
Yeah. And finally, if you want to give our listeners and our students a couple of takeaways, what would that be?
Oof. I'm a storyteller. I've got a lot of takeaways all the time because for me, with my 19 years of experience, I've always envisioned, like, if I had this opportunity in the past, if I had somebody to listen to, that would be so amazing. But I can definitely say invest
Right.
from day one, whether you're 20, 21, even if you have just 500 rupees, invest it. Please don't go put it in stocks that your mother and your grandfather went and told you. That would have worked back then. That's not the world we're living in now, right? You would have heard about your stocks, you would have heard about cryptocurrencies and the different stuff, and then everyone will be like, oh, be careful, blah, blah, blah. That they said about stocks in the late 90s also. Because it's all new. People don't know about it. Right. But I'm not saying take all your savings and put it there. Be mindful with where you're investing.
Diligence.
And discipline, a lot of discipline. So from day one, invest, because that's going to make you money in your sleep. And always remember, there's inflation that's growing, and there's compound interest. Your compound interest is like your best friend. Do not take the money just for the sake of it. Hey, let's go to LA. No. You keep it there. Work backwards. I know you all are just starting off your career.
Yes.
But imagine you already retired. If, say, you're retiring at whether it's 40, 50, 60, whatever age, how much do you need? Even if you say 2 lakhs or 1 crore, that's not going to suffice then. You know, we're talking about 40 years from now.
Yeah.
That's 2064.
Yeah. That's fast math. Yeah.
I'm actually crappy at math, but yeah, thank you. But it's so important from there. How much do you need? You work out your math, and then you need to see what all goals do you want to achieve. Whether you want to study further, you want to start your business, a family, have those goals. And then again, should it be in short-term investments, mid-term, long-term investments? I'm a avid risk taker. I just leap like bungee jump. I do that please don't do that. I just do it because I believe. But I don't go safe in my investments. But do what works for you. But since you all are young, please don't play completely safe. This is a time where you all can make mistakes and learn from it and grow. So my advice is, do not put everything in your fixed deposits. Right. Your parents would say, yes, please go put everything. Put it all in your savings account, which gives you 3% interest. No. Anything that you do, you need to ensure that it makes much more than the inflation rate. Right. So at the moment, again, please do your research. It's your mutual funds, your SIPs, your stocks. Of course, there's risk involved. Yes. You need to be open to that. Again, when you're investing, quality stocks, quality mutual funds, you need to do your research. So my advice is, get yourself financially educated.
Before putting your money in.
Do not say, hey, my friend said this to go put it there, that's nice. I read this in the newspaper, let me put it there. No. You're gambling. Don't gamble. Go ahead, make informed decisions because it's your money, it's your hard-earned money. Yes. Yeah, so yeah, that is number one advice. Second is, I'm philosophical as well. So, and it's there in all.
We love the all-rounder.
The second one I would say is, treat people as how you'd like to be treated. How much ever you grow in life, be grounded, stay rooted, there would be somebody else looking up to you, ensure that, with over time, success will come, titles will come, ego will grow as well. Again, being mindful about that. And even, of course, you could be all up there, but knowing that you're aware, you're catching yourself there, and then you're bringing yourself. Because, again, humanity. Your third one would be do not self-reject. Others can reject you, but you do not do that yourself. You need to be your biggest cheerleader. Don't expect others to be cheering you, because no one's going to be doing that your whole life.
It's us again.
Yes, you need to take 100% responsibility for your life. If you are giving away your power, you're not actually living life. You're just, do this, do that. No. Because if something goes wrong, you could say, Natasha, I did not do this, that person did this. Okay, but you still take responsibility. Take ownership of that. The other, mentorship. Have mentors from a very young age. Now you could say, what should I be mentored on? It's okay to not know, but have a very strong mentor across industries. There could be leaders who say, have one. I'm not that type. I would say have many from different industries, because you get an opportunity to learn from diverse backgrounds, diverse mindsets, thought processes.
So you get like a good mix.
Yeah. And even online social media has been so helpful. It's sometimes therapy for me as well. Again, it depends on what you're feeding your mind.
Right.
And that's also very important. What you feed your body, of course, is super important.
Yes.
Your body, mind, and soul. So, okay, guilty. I have been eating crappy food growing up because, you're always rushing to work. So I lived literally in McDonald's and all the other fast food joints, because it was just below the office.
That makes me sad.
So I would, to the fact that the people working there would bet, saying that she's going to order this. I did not realize that they would do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they've actually made it a game. And from day one, know what you're feeding your body. Get your nutrition. You would have heard all of this growing up, and you'd be like, yeah, your mother's saying this, your father's saying this. Okay. It's important.
Right.
The only thing is they're not saying why it's important.
Yes.
But if they actually advise us to the reasons behind it, then yes, people would actually take it seriously, including exercise. You read it anywhere. You open your Instagram, your Facebook, exercise, it's good for health.
Why?
Yeah, that's missing. But now, after all of this, I'm like, oh my gosh, even things like chia seeds, they are so heavy in fiber. It's so important that even today, I mix it in my idli.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm getting my source of fiber.
There is a chia seed idli. Guys, did you know that? Yeah.
You need to put in your chia seed in the idli or whatever you choose to. Put it over there so that you eat it. Stay off, again, it's up to you, but stay off sugar as much as possible, because it's the root cause of a lot of illnesses as well. For the longest time, I was off sugar. And when I started it, I think somebody offered me Coke after a couple of years, and I was like mind blown. I'm like, oh my God, I felt like I was just having 1 kilo of sugar in that one sip. And that's when I realized that, wow, we are feeding our body whatever is available everywhere. So I think that's very important. So I think I have a lot to say when it comes to this topic. Let me do one thing. I've actually got it on my phone. Would you mind if I just share those as well?
No, please, of course. Go ahead.
Perfect.
Guys, take notes, okay? Keep your pens and papers ready.
Please do. Because in my career, I wish that I got these as my, maybe my first chapter, your advice, your piece of advice, you get from your grandfather or your grandmother. And that's exactly what I wanted to create for everybody else. Number one being get up, dress up, show up. No matter what happens, your crappy days, get up, show up for yourself. And something that I do is I dress up on the worst days. So if you see me all fancy, I'm probably having a crappy day, and hence I am making up for it, kind of like tallying it. So get up, dress up, show up. The second one is be driven by passion and purpose.
Of course, yeah.
I know students who are sometimes confused with what they want to do in life because they could be super talented, like I know many over here as well. I do believe at the end of the day, even if your career gives you that money, you'd still be empty within. You need to find what actually fills you up, that fulfillment and that joy. That's very important because it's not like for one day, it's for a longer period. So that's very important as well. Moving forward is respecting time. Indians,
Nah, we
follow
don't got it.
we just come in and go out, and especially when you're working with people from other time zones, they're very, very, again, depending on the cultures, they're very picky on ensuring who's there, who's not there. So don't get on their wrong books. And we have this habit of doing this, the Indian head shake, not realizing sometimes we're on the call when they ask, do you have any questions? We're busy doing the Indian head shake.
And they don't know.
I don't know what they're saying, right? So say yes, no, say something from your side as well. Be nice to people, no matter what. People can be going through a crappy day. You do not know that. Some of it are invisible as well. I've heard people come and tell me saying, oh, Natasha, you're so thin. Why are you taking the stairs? You're trying to be some model or something.
And that's just...
They don't realize that I am so, we all privileged, but I'm just so indebted with the fact that I can still move my legs and I have to continuously use it. So before passing judgment, always ask yourself, is this going to help that person or is this harsh? If it's harsh, it's not helping them, zip it. Do not bother taking it out. Avoid unconscious biases. As humans, we do have that, and it's okay to have a little bit for our survival, but be mindful of that as well. Sometimes we end up talking to only people who are just like us, hanging out with people who are probably little way ahead. That's okay, but then knowing where to draw the line, that's very important as well. Praise publicly. I'm sure one day, if not otherwise already, praise publicly. But if you're criticizing, criticize privately. There are leaders out there who tend to raise their voice on the floor, probably out of their stress levels as well. But it's not like a one-off thing, right? You're putting in your name, your brand out there, with that, with that 5 seconds of saying, hey, you're crap, or you're doing a crappy work, that's going to hurt the other person and how they see themselves. So be mindful of that as well and walk the talk. If you're saying something, do it. Otherwise, don't bother saying it because, of course, people build on those, right? So walk the talk. Super important from day one. Ask for feedback. Seek feedback from people, not just your friends, who will give you all the best of feedback. Even the ones that you think that you're going to get feedback, that's going to be a slight stinger, get it, because that will help you grow. I remember asking for feedback from one of my super bosses back in the day, and she's like, I cannot give you feedback right now because you moved out of the team. So it wouldn't be right for me to give back. And I was like, oh yeah, that's correct. Why am I going back to the past? I shouldn't. And that was also super important as well. The other one would be own who you are and rise to the challenge, no matter what happens. Even if your legs are shaking, put your hands up. Not this way, put it right up to ensure that, yes. And take your front seats. That's why even in office, I keep telling, take those seats. There's no label saying, yeah, this is for so-and-so. Why are you not sitting there? You need to make yourself visible to others. You need to have your elevator pitch ready. So no matter when those opportunities arise, you are ready to grab it. That's very important. Your elevator pitch should be at least 30-35 seconds. And it has to be completely, what would I say? because you're evolving as well. We are all evolving. Keep updating it mentally as well and rehearse it. Talk to your friends about it or whoever. You add in your own sass to it, but make it your own. And don't try to be somebody else. We are all original pieces. Let's just be there, right? Play. Do not forget to play. Not just now when you're 20, when you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Play is must. It's mandatory. Never lose that kid in you, no matter what happens. That's why the Macarena for me. Whether I'm scuba diving, skydiving, bungee jumping, I am doing the Macarena because why not? Don't wait for the perfect stage for you to do all of those things. Just do it. Again, oh my gosh. Nike. And breathe. Breathe. Not, even the way you breathe affects your day. We sometimes do short breaths, like we don't even breathe properly. So it's very important to learn to breathe as well.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say learn to breathe, but I think it's something that we should actually think on because no one's ever thought about it. We're like, yeah, I'm breathing anyway, but there is a way to do it, and then we make the best out of it.
For sure. Again, as all of y'all are getting out of college and stuff like that, once y'all become colleagues, things will change. Somebody will be ahead of you. Somebody would be just doing what they're asked to be doing, and some might find it slightly challenging where they will get their support. If somebody gets a promotion, celebrate that person. Clap for them. Your time will come, but don't be that person's, with that oh, that person got it, I deserve it. With that mindset. No, nobody likes hanging around with that. Drop it, just clap. Right? Because when you get it, you will have your people clap for you as well. And one more thing, please don't go ahead and say, hey, what's your rating? What's your salary? If you tell, I'll tell. No. That drops here.
That's just not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay. If in case you would like to know people's salary, you can always go online, check. You have your websites where, industry standards, what's being paid. You don't have to
ask them and make it awkward.
Hush way. Because again, you are building your brand from day one. The way you talk, the way you walk, people are looking at you. So even now, even if I'm in this room, I can already, again, whether you like it or not, we all pass judgment. I know what each one brings to the table. And that's very important because you will be meeting different people with different different working styles and behaviors. So for example, I could be somebody who's an INFP, that's an intuitive, introvert, feelings, yes, a personality type, while somebody else could be an extrovert and all of those things. So for the longest time, I thought I was I thought I was an ambivert, but apparently that does not exist.
It doesn't?
You're either 49-51, you can't be an ambi.
I see.
Yeah. So I think I fall more into the introvert, although I love talking and stuff like that way, but it's important to know how to have those conversations with people.
Right.
And have those conversations, even those tough conversations, have them. So I can go on and on, but if in case there are other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, I think because we've worked in the office along with Natasha and I've heard her say that she believes in manifestations, and if you could just speak about that.
When did I talk about manifestation?
I think you said it in one of the talks that we had. You said, I believe in it, and the things that you actually really go by when it comes to those things.
So then I shall. Your lucky day, because I have a book on manifesting in my bag.
Your lucky day also.
Yes. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people might be knowing about this. It's called The Secret. Some people would be like, oh my God, this again. But do you know manifest is one of the most searched words in history right now? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And everyone's like, what is this manifesting? Does it actually work? Blah, blah. And I think after the pandemic, it's been on the rise.
Right.
Um, for me, if I open my book, I went through each one and I like making it personalized. So
Yes, I can see notes in the book.
notes and smileys and question mark and stars and everything and highlights as well. So for me, I think this is super important. We are not taught a lot of things in school.
Yes.
I know this is not the place to be saying this, but we have a long way to go in our educational system, whether it's schools, colleges, universities. Somewhere along the way, we are indoctrinated. We are taught the same thing as before. If we look at the educational system, way back in India, it was really good. And then, of course, we had a lot of invasions as well coming, and then we kind of picked up the British school system and we went by that. And that kind of made us employees, which shouldn't be. Like, the main intent is to ensure that we move in society as employees. We can be employers, we can be business women, businessmen, whatever you choose to be.
Right.
Just providing the right platform. And that's when I'm like, there's more to life than just what's being taught to us. Don't get me wrong, your science, your social, your math, it's all important. But then there's so many more things.
Right.
One being human behavior,
Absolutely.
one being even what to do during an emergency. That's taught when you're in companies where you during your emergency situations. Hey, that's where your emergency, your fire, your staircases, and blah blah. Where is all that growing up? Where's your mentoring growing up? And then I did a lot of research saying there's a gap somewhere. I started knowing more. I was very, very curious to know, is this it to life? Isn't there more? Then I got curious. I started knowing more about metaphysics, what's out there,
Wow.
and the brain. Yes, I always carry books in my bag. And I was always fascinated about the brain, not realizing one day I'll be dealing with my own brain and with MS. But with that, I've got more curious. Because right now what's happening is the communication between the brain and my body is disconnected a bit because it's eaten. It's scarred. So depending on where it is. So even now, I would be wearing a pad and walking because I cannot even control when I'm passing urine.
Yeah.
And a lot of things. If you touch me, I would not even know. So a lot of things like that. I got more curious. There are different types to the brain. What else? What is it affecting?
Right.
So even I went for an MRI recently, and they said the lesions are here and here and here. I'm like, where? Which part? Is it in the neocortex? Is it in the amygdala? Which part? I want to know.
Right.
So
Did they
the
tell you?
thing is they see us just as patients, not realizing as patients we can do our own research and then come with our questions. Then I got into manifesting. I'm like, the funny part is, because nobody used to believe me, I started doing this self-talk.
Right.
I gamify my life and I sing and I dance. So I started thanking my body. I started talking to the nerves. I used to be like, these nerves have little heads. Even yesterday, I was like, thank you so much. You're doing like an awesome job. Thank you. And, I would kiss my knees as well. It's like working non-stop. I'm like just so indebted for me to even walk.
Yeah.
And with that, when I was in the hospital, I used to go on talking to the universe. Even while I was going through the divorce, I would go to the balcony and I would look up to the sky and talk to the universe, saying, "Are you there?" And then I would start my conversation, not realizing all of this exists. Then I don't know where was my first manifesting story, but it started from there, not realizing that I'm a big heart fan. Wherever I go, I will see hearts. Because before that, I used to always put a heart. Even if it's a stranger, I'll put a little heart, wishing them well.
Oh.
So when I was in the hospital, when I was there, I couldn't move. I saw hearts everywhere. People's shirt, in rice grains, everywhere. And I used to take pictures of it all. And it's like it came back in like, well, not even 2 times. It came 10 times, 100 times. It came like that, just hearts. Even now, if I see a heart, even if it's a crappy day, I'm like, hey, heart. And I'm like, oh my God. Because that's like, gifts that are you're not even expecting and just pops from nowhere. And I love that. And then I'm like, okay, these are hearts. And then I started seeing numbers. Your 1111s, your 2222s. And now what I'm seeing is, again, I started doing research. Google is free. Research, what is this 1111? And then I learned about synchronicity. I'm like, is the universe trying to talk back? And of course, being the Pollyanna in me, Pollyanna is this little girl. I don't know if you know her.
I do. It's a classic.
Well, I have that little Pollyanna in me, seeing the positive in anything situation. And I was super excited and I wanted to know more and more. I picked The Secret, and after that, anything I touched was just that, because my focus was just that. So whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it was all that. So when I saw this book, it's written over here. You hold in your hand a great secret. This is the secret. And if I even read some of the things that I've written, thoughts become things. Whatever you sow, you reap. Like, your mind, you can sow weeds or you can sow roses, whatever seeds. It'll give you exactly what you have put in. You can't sow wheat and expect like an orchid tree or a rose, right? So if you're thinking negative, that's what's going to come out. So it's super important as to what you're feeding your mind. And over here, it is important, again, affirmations. I have like heap loads of affirmations in different areas. You start off again. I love a little bit of Marilyn Monroe as well. Okay. So you need to have the diva sass and owning it completely. I am beautiful, I am that, I am this, I feel this. And also your chakras. Know all your chakras. It's not just your I am, your I feel, I do, all of that. It's all aligned. And understand what's blocked, what's not blocked as well. So I got so curious and I was like, so I used to be up till 2, 3 in the morning and I used to like, Tasha, go sleep. You have an early day tomorrow, because I was so consumed with what's out there, what's not taught to us. I'm like, let's start underlining, giving me. So that's what I did. And the frequency that you're setting, even today, you set a frequency for the day and you go with it. It's like you cannot, what is the radio station for Bangalore? 91.9. You can't put 87.3 and say, hey, why isn't the Bangalore English station working? Because you're on the wrong frequency. Exactly. Same thing with life. Ooh. You can't, and then say, why is it not working? Because you're not on that frequency. It's all there. Think of life like one big supermarket, like a hypermarket. It's all there. For you to reach there, you need to walk there, or maybe put a ladder, or ask for help to get there, in case you're short like me. You need somebody tall, like the people here in the room, to get it for you. Things like that. So there's always a way. Right. You just need to know. Yeah, that is super important. And I can tell stories. I carry rocks. Okay, there's this gratitude rock as well. I think that's there in the book as well. Whichever country I go to, I carry. That was a joke actually. When I was in the 8th standard, somebody asked me. I studied in Bahrain before coming down to India after my 12th standard. Somebody said, hey, I'm going to India. Do you want something from India? I hated people spending money for me. I don't want that. Because their pocket money should be for them. Yes. So he kept saying, do you want something? I'm like, no, I don't want. And he kept persisting. I said, okay, if that is the case, get me one rock. He's small. He's about 12. And when he came back, he actually got me a rock. Oh. And he's explaining, this is from this beach and that thing. I'm like, you actually got me that. He's like, yeah, you said you want it. I'm like, oh my God. I just meant it as a joke. That I told that to myself, but then I couldn't tell it to him because he brought it with so much of care and concern and all that. And that's when I was like, okay, let's start collecting rocks. So then... that's where that came from? And the funny part is, not funny, it's quite cool. These rocks now are all in the shape of hearts. They've got hearts, yeah.
Okay, I'm shook.
So now, and people know this, that I love hearts. So they go and see if there are hearts, and then they're like, hey, that's for me. And even now, when people pass by any hearts, they will WhatsApp it to me, saying, thinking of you. And then, and that's all. I do not need, I'm not material. I mean, we're all materialistic, but not to the extent that I need this, the latest iPhone, the latest. No. You can't buy any of these things, because this is the magic that I look for in everyday life and living joyfully daily, no matter what life throws at you. And yeah, those are few things. Over here, it's written the 3 magnificent powers in operation: the power of gratitude to heal, the power of faith to receive, and the power of laughter and joy to dissolve disease in our bodies. Man becomes what he thinks about, and what you resist persists. Energy. And energy flows where attention goes. So be mindful of where you are actually putting your energy. And radiate joy no matter what. Because again, you're attracting all of that into your life. And sometimes, even if somebody, say for example, some person, Tom, Dick or Harry, comes and pisses you off, all you need to do is what? What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
this
should
is
I
not
ask you? Is
a
that a
good
tricky
thing.
So I would just smile. Because they're so confused as to why the hell are you smiling?
I'm trying to piss you off.
Smile. They will not have the power to control you or your feelings, your emotions. Because again, like I mentioned, respond, do not react.
I should write that down. Me. I'm saying me. But yeah, oh my God. I think when you listen to the last answer that she gave about the manifestation and everything, I think it's very heavy. The story is so heavy. There's so much of intensity in it. And I think that we all should actually give it a go with manifestation. And I think it's going to be a great thing. So if you have the time, just go back to like that back 10 seconds thing, like just go back to the last 10 minutes and you should listen to that again, because I think that is the highlight. I should have started with that. But anyway, Natasha, thank you so much for being on the RNSIT podcast. It was an amazing time recording with you, and I think we've all learned. And if you're wondering, there are other people with me in this room who are also very stunned at this conversation, and on behalf of RNSIT MBA, we would love to have you again, and we are so grateful that you decided to be our inaugural speaker. And that's it for this episode, guys. We'll see you next time. And Natasha, say bye.
Thank you, RNSIT. Okay, I need to say my own thank you.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm in a room filled with amazing students who are filled with a lot of passion. And I would like to thank them as well as everybody else at RNSIT for having me. And I'm the first,
Yes,
so I can do the Macarena.
Yes, you can. You can absolutely do that. Yeah.
So thank you for having me over here. Completely thrilled, and I do hope this podcast allows the students to
Yes, absolutely. Learnings.
path, yeah.
Yes. Thank you once again, Natasha, for being on our RNSIT MBA podcast, Resonance, where minds meet mics. And I would want to take this opportunity to tell you all to please follow us on social media. The handles will be down below and you can follow us there. And stay tuned because the next episode is coming very, very soon. Okay. Bye-bye.